Greetings, everyone. My name is Mitch Dyer. This is Brian Albert.
Hello.
This is Battleborn, the new game from Gearbox Software. They made Borderlands, Brothers in Arms, Aliens, Colonial Marines. Brian, instead of explaining to you what Battleborn is myself, I'm going to defer to Randy Pitchford, president of Gearbox Software.
Let me know. Drop it on me.
Battleborn is FPS, hobby-grade co-op campaign, genre-blended multi-mode competitive esports, meta-growth, choice, and epic Battleborn heroes.
I know some of those words separately.
Some of them are nouns that I understand as someone who is fluent in English. But
Okay.
what this says to me...
Let's cut that apart here.
Separating all of these things. The way I understand it, Battleborn is a first-person shooter. So far, so good. It's hero-centric. They call it a hero shooter.
Sure.
5-player co-op campaign.
Right.
5-on-5 competitive multiplayer. Very heavy focus single-player story, or cooperative story. There's a star burned out. There's a evil, villainous race.
Now you must combine forces to fight.
Yes, and you must overcome your differences with each other to kill all these things.
Right.
But the most interesting thing for me, English, and for you, I would assume, is the fact that this is basically a MOBA. This is a first-person shooter that is a MOBA, like League of Legends or Dota.
There's always some sort of hesitance to say MOBA because that genre doesn't have like a specific name. People will say like
Action RTS,
RTS
battle,
blah, 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 hero,
whatever.
shooter. Yeah. And this sounds like a MOBA, but
MOBA.
There's a very heavy focus on like a co-op campaign.
Yes.
Which is a thing that we don't see right now.
Yeah, that's very new. You never see a single-player element to anything like Strife or Infinite Crisis or any of these MOBAs at all. Like, they all focus on multiplayer only.
Exactly. When I was first reading, I was like, oh, it's a MOBA with like a co-op focus. And I was like, what is that? Of course it is. Like, that's exactly what the genre is. But
it's a co-op shooter that is inspired by the kind of, like, RPG arc of a MOBA.
Right, right. And, you know, there's all these different heroes. You know, apparently I was reading, like, the, you know, Game Informer had the preview, and it was, you know, there's a shooter, and it feels like it's from a first-person shooter, and there's, like, a ranger character who can leap around and shoot arrows while flying through the air.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, right.
Also, one of the characters is straight up Montana from Furious 4.
I didn't notice that until you
pointed
pointed
it
out.
The hat and the beard and the bandolier.
And the giant minigun.
That dude is the guy from Furious 4. It's the same dude.
He really is. No, I kind of wish we knew more about how, like, the multiplayer is going to play.
Yeah.
But specifically, keep going.
I was just going to say, it's a Gearbox game. I would assume that it will play somewhat similar to Borderlands in that there's probably, like, large open battle spaces, combat bowls, I think is what Cliff Bleszinski called them.
Bowls,
yeah, like that kind of thing where you have 5 people and big encounters, lots of enemies. They talk about creeps and minions specifically being a big thing here.
Another thing that Gearbox is always on about is like combining genres to defy your expectations of genres. And
I can give you 7 that Randy Pitchford.
They also talked about you know, how like the loot is going to be a huge part of this, which is something we've seen in Borderlands time and time again. But that's also sort of interesting because MOBAs are about every match you start with nothing.
Matches,
You start with nothing, you build up with different items and skills each time.
So I almost wonder if the campaign will be more traditional, the sort of Borderlands thing where you have a character, you decide that you're going to play this character or this class, and maybe you rotate characters, and you're going to get items, and you're going to get gold, and you're going to get loot, and you're going to get all this stuff that makes you satisfied as somebody playing a single or a cooperative campaign.
Sure.
Multiplayer, the competitive 5v5 thing, wouldn't be surprised at all to see a straight up, you know, fight towers, take down the ancient, 3 lanes, like MOBA. That'd
be really interesting because for some reason I can't divorce the idea of, oh, if it's like MOBA multiplayer, it kind of has to be like that in single player. But like nothing says it has to be, right?
No, I mean it
could just be a totally different thing for a totally different audience.
Yeah, it's a new approach. It's first-person shooters. We've seen, you know, Monday Night Combat and Strife try shooter-y MMO, like
over the shoulder, different angles,
over the shoulder thing. Like we've seen people try the genre in different ways, and this is the first instance I can think where it is straight up. This is a shooter, and also it's a MOBA, and also it's got a story and it's cooperative and all these different things.
Yeah, it sounds ambitious. I can't think of any MOBA that's tried these kinds of things before.
Me either.
All in one package.
Knee-jerk reaction. How do you feel?
I'm excited for it. I have faith in Gearbox.
Yes.
I love Borderlands. I like the art style I've seen so far. You know, some of the talk, that weird tweet aside, seems pretty promising. I can't wait. I want to check it out.
I agree. Me too. We will have much, much more for you in the near future on Battleborn, which comes out in 2015 right here on IGN.